first of all, thanks, Ido, for organising this follow-up workshop following the one we had in, I think it was September last year. And I know that quite a lot's been happening in the intervening months with you and your team and others across the Institute. So I feel I don't really need to kind of explain to people and tell people the importance of scaling. We've discussed that on a number of occasions. It's about how do we ensure that our research, ILRI's research, and our research outputs and the technologies and the interventions that we are researching and piloting can ultimately be taken up and go to scale. And I think this is something that, you know, ILRI and the CGIAR is continually challenged on. I mean, from an ILRI perspective, you know, we've had the SPEAR report that said there was not a lot of evidence of the impact of, you know, years and years of investment in livestock research for development. Doesn't mean to say there wasn't impact, it was just they couldn't find much evidence of impact. So the donors want to see that impact. They want to see our research being scaled out. And importantly, they want to see proof that it's having impact, not just us saying it's having impact. They want to see that proof. They're not satisfied, and rightly so, that we stop when we pilot something in a few villages or, you know, a couple of hundred households. So the challenge is, how do we move beyond that? How do we ensure that working with partners, we can affect not just a few households in a pilot study, but hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people ultimately. And of course, we can't do that as ILRI. We're a research institute, we're not a development organization or a private sector company. So we need to partner very closely with those who are working in the development space and facilitate their work, support their work, and so on. So it's a question of how do we ensure that what we are doing right from the start of the beginning of the project cycle, from the planning to the implementation, the execution, we have in mind that ultimately we want this research to have impact at scale, at large scale. So we had a workshop in September, I think it was last year, which kind of set out some of the thinking within ILRI. Last week, there was a series of online workshops organized by the System Management Office and the Policies, Institutions and Markets, CRP, on the whole question of what's called stage gating. How is the CGR, as it moves forward, how will the CGR make decisions about what research to do, how to adjust the research portfolio as we go along? Something we're very bad at. We start something and we just keep going. We never stop things, even although they're not necessarily providing us a big return on investment. So how can the CGR be more nimble in making decisions about what it does? If things are not progressing, maybe it makes sense to stop that investment and put the money into something that is likely to give a higher return on investment. And as part of that discussion, which I didn't participate in, but I followed some of the chats, as part of that discussion, there was a discussion on scaling, because clearly scaling and scalability would be one of the criteria that you would use in terms of where should the CGR and where should the donors be investing in the CGIAR. So the whole question of scaling is moving up the agenda in the CGIAR.